What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, here to bring you guys another video today. So we're going to recap this past week of trading, and we're going to look at a few stocks to watch for this upcoming week, because this is a very, very big week for earnings. And then we're also going to talk about some things which are good to do in this kind of market. Now, I do want to highlight, this is the last week of April trading. So please remember, at the end of March, we had a big run up. At the end of April, we could see the same thing. I'm just saying, potentially. Now, to first start off with, let's recap this past week of trading, right? Obviously, Netflix announced earnings before open on Tuesday. Netflix absolutely tanked. We're going to look at that on the chart in a few minutes. But I did want to just put that on your radar just to say, hey, this is a very undervalued stock in my opinion right now. And not only is it one to keep your eyes on, but there could be other stocks which follow suit in the upcoming few days. Now let's fast forward to this week of trading. And as I said, it is a very big week for earnings. So Monday we have Coca-Cola and Activision. Those will both be very interesting. So pre-market and post-market, I'll be looking at those. Tuesday, we've got Microsoft, Google announcing earnings. Now that is going to have a big effect on what the market does the following day. Please do remember that. Wednesday, we've got Facebook, PayPal, Boeing, Qualcomm. We've got Sony as well. Trust me, Wednesday is going to be just as exciting as Tuesday, if not more. Then Thursday, even bigger. Apple, Amazon, Twitter, Intel as well. It is about to get exciting. So let's head on to TradingView and look at the charts. Now, as I said during the intro to this video, there are a few things you can do in this market to make sure you protect yourself. As always, if you are not 100% certain on a trade, please manage your risk, and sometimes even better, don't even trade at all. Now, let's start off by looking at Netflix, because this past week, Netflix tanked. And we did not trade Netflix before the drop. So unfortunately, we didn't hold the puts overnight to get a part of the drop. But we did profit off the puts very nicely when the drop had already happened. Now, that's the same kind of thing I want you guys to look at with different earnings plays this upcoming week. So let's look at the daily chart so we can get an idea of what happened. Here we go. Yes, that is not a joke. Netflix is sitting at $215.52. There's that big drop down from $350 all the way to $212 at one point. Now, you guys know about Netflix and their password sharing difficulties they've been having, and how they aim to stop that. You guys know about the price increase. You guys know about them losing subscribers. You guys know about their competition growing. You guys knew about all of that. But I'd be lying if I said I expected Netflix to drop this bad. It dropped literally $135 in about 16 hours. So basically 2 trading days. Now, you guys who traded this for puts overnight made some great money. But what I was happy about with our group is the fact that I called out Netflix puts when it was about $240, I believe, and it still managed to drop a further $10 or $15 on that same day. So that was good. We made money off that. I know people thought it was a bit of a late call, or well, potentially it was, but what was most important is we made money. Now, if you got in on the 212.50 puts, the 205 puts, the 210 puts, you made money. If you went for the 190 put, you probably took a loss, because Netflix wasn't dropping even below, $205. So in regards to the 190 puts, it was a bit difficult to make money, but there were definitely times you could have taken profit. Also, I want to look at SPY, because yesterday we traded SPY. So SPY tanked yesterday, and I bought 433 puts. So SPY dropped about, I think, $12 yesterday, maybe just a bit less. $11 yesterday. And like I said, I took the 433 puts. Other people took different puts. But when a stock is trading below all the moving averages, constantly breaking level of support, puts are usually on, and it should be pretty clear to you. Now, I know it's hindsight, so we're like, oh yeah, well, you know that now because it's already happened. Not necessarily. I mean, once SPY started to get to 450 and it started to see the rejection, and once it started to continue to drop, seeing back-to-back red candles on different time frames, you kind of get the indication with that, like, you know what? This is time to get inputs. So whoever got inputs around here, anywhere before 440, I definitely give you props, because I was a little slow in my opinion. But my key line is this yellow line here. These green lines are less key than this yellow line for me. That's why these are green. This is why this is bright yellow. So if you're wondering why I entered puts so-called late, in quotations, Yeah, well, once it broke below my yellow line here, that's when I like to get into on SPY puts. So that's the thing with this market, right? And it's kind of what I want to touch on, because in regards to this trade in this market, it isn't easy, but there's some things which will just help you make some progress and make some gains. So this week, the first trade I put out was a swing, and it was square puts. I actually bought these when square was around 118. I think it was Monday, so somewhere here, right? And you see how square sold off $16 till Friday? Well, I got out before Friday. When my puts was in the money, I already got out. So one thing I want to highlight with that, the reason I'm saying that is when a stock is trading below the moving averages on multiple different time frames, it is a sign that it's clearly bearish. And if it continues bearish, you shouldn't be too afraid to, first of all, get input, and second of all, hold the puts you already have. Now, it depends what kind of profit you're looking for, what your trading plan is, of course. But I'm just saying, my strategy, in regards to my strategy, when I see something like this, which I showed you guys last week, I shouldn't be worried about having puts. This is a trade I did about 2 weeks ago with Square. And if you look at the Discord, you look at the weekly watch list, Monday pre-market, I said I'm trying to do the same thing with Square that I did a few weeks ago, and that's exactly what I ended up doing. Now there are many other stocks you guys can do that with, but we can discuss that more in the Discord. So make sure you guys come and check out the Discord if you want to know more about that. Now I want to talk about the stocks for this upcoming week that are announcing earnings. So we're going to look at Apple first, and Apple actually report earnings on Thursday. So you're probably thinking, oh, this is a little bit backwards, but it's not. It's for a reason. Apple largely dictates what SPY does. SPY kind of shows what the whole market is doing overall, and Apple is basically dictating what SPY does when it comes to the movement. 157.72, that is my level for Apple. I would love to see Apple break below that so I can get more puts, because if it does break below that, who knows how far it's going. I mean, here maybe it gets down to lows of 150, a bit under 150 again, like it did in the middle of March. But I have a funny feeling it's going to go lower than that this time. I mean, I might not be right, so we've got to see what it does. But this is why I just wanted to put it out first. It's one of my, it might even be my top stock to watch this week, Apple. I'm definitely intrigued because I would love to get loads of shares under $150. Long term, I don't see how Apple is going to be less than $200 to maybe $250, which means I'm getting a 50, 60, 70% return on my money. If that happens, if I get shares under 150 and it runs up to 220, let's say. But Apple is one stock that I have strong faith in for the long term, as is Facebook. Facebook announced earnings this week, Tuesday. Facebook has already sold off plenty this past week. And Facebook, unfortunately, for me as a shareholder, might have plenty more falling to do. But that doesn't mean I cannot eat off the puts in the meantime. Look how it's trending below the moving averages nicely, holding tight to the moving average if I'm honest. But depending on what news they announce, depending on how the earnings go, this could be up for a big drop. What kind of big drop? I don't know. Let's look at the daily chart back a couple years. Because I remember when I got my shares, it was about 2019. Might have been a little bit before then. I think late 2018, beginning 2019. So I know Facebook hasn't been around 150 since then. Although it did briefly touch 150 beginning of pandemic. I remember that because I was a bit shocked. Yeah, here. Okay. There we go. But hey, if Facebook drops from 184 down to 140 and you guys get puts, or we get puts, we could be in for a nice little treat there. I don't know. 200, 300% gains could be on the cards. Next up, I'm going to look at Microsoft. Microsoft, which I said a few months ago, I would love shares under around 290. Now it's at 274. And why haven't I bought shares yet? Well, because the cheap can still get cheaper. And I want you guys to remember that for every single stock in this market right now. Apple, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, Tesla, Twitter, whatever stock, the cheap can still get cheaper. It is below all three moving averages on the daily chart. It is below my levels of support. It's below my level of, well, where I want to buy the stock. So just looking at that alone tells me, hey, it's not because I want to buy now that it's going to suddenly reverse and start rallying. No, of course not. It's not because I want to buy now that it's going to decide, you know what, I'm going to start trending towards $300 again. No, Microsoft is still bleeding. And I think it will continue to bleed up until around earnings time. And even then, the bleeding might not stop. So the reason I put this on the radar right now is because I like the shares for the long term. And I just wanted to remember that you can accumulate shares in long term just with many different stocks. Same as to be said for Nvidia. I actually traded Nvidia puts this week from $206 down to 195 so far. It was a trade that was called out in the Discord. So I know people were up 70-80% if they did get in. On the 1 on 97.5 puts, our puts are now in the money. Nvidia is still very bearish. 195 is my first price target for it, as I clearly stated in the Discord this week in the weekly watch list. $190 is my second price target. I think we might see that this week with tech continuing to sell off. Again, it's a big week for earnings, so maybe tech will save this stock at one point this week. But let me just highlight this level here. 195.15 is where we're at right now. 195.11 is kind of where the next level of support is for me, which I believe we will break below. Then after that, I'm telling you guys, it could get very ugly. Here we go. This is my next level, 187.36 after where we are right now. But like I said, my price target is 190, so slightly above this level of support. And I think tech does continue to sell off for the next few days. So Nvidia puts, AMD puts, QQQ puts are on the cards. But there is one stock I want to talk about for puts right now, which announces earnings this Thursday, and I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video. That is Roku, a stock which was $400 not so long ago, a stock which has been selling off for about 7 months straight, a stock which is below both of my levels of support, a stock which is below all the moving averages, and a stock which doesn't seem to have a very bright future as of this moment. Now, why am I looking at Roku? Well, because of all the reasons I just said, but also because Roku has been just a trash stock for the past 6-7 months. It is continuously selling off. And here on the hourly chart, it's trending towards the moving average a few times, right? But then it's sold off. Right now, it's sitting slightly under the 9-day moving average. And I think it's going to get rejected again and continue to sell off. The only thing that could possibly save this is earnings Thursday. Whereas I think earnings is going to drastically drop this stock. Whether it happens or not, I have no idea. Whether it happens or not, it shouldn't matter because I'm probably not going to be holding overnight during the earnings. But as this stock is cheap and can still get cheaper, it also does have potential for return. Maybe 5 months down the line, 6 months down the line. I don't know. But that means when it starts to reverse, when I see confirmation that it's in an uptrend, it starts breaking above moving averages, picking up volume, you see the buyers continually buying up, then I will look at getting in for shares for long term. I don't expect Roku to bring me back 50, 60, 70% returns. I'll be looking for a 20, 30% gain with these shares. If it can get from, let's say I buy at $90, if it can get back up to 110, 150, $120, that's more than enough for me. I'm not looking to get Roku at $90 and get 500% returns on my shares back up to $300, $400. I'm not looking for that. Roku, I'm not a huge fan of the stock, the company itself, but hey, I'm here to trade, and that's what's more important now. Let's see. BA, right? BA and also JetBlue announced earnings this week. I believe JetBlue is also Tuesday, just like BA. So Boeing, here it is, 27th of April, that earnings sign. Boeing has its ups and downs. If we look at 1 hourly chart, look at the daily, you see the same thing I'm kind of talking about. Has some green days and has some red days. It's like green, red, green, red. It's a bit wishy-washy. It's not so consistent and it's a bit more difficult to swing trade in comparison to the ones I've been swinging. So Wednesday to Thursday, a lot of airlines pushed up. If you can see that here, let's see. So that's what, here to here. I think from here to here, there's a big push up right before a sell off towards the end of the week. So I will be looking at Boeing puts in all honesty. But hey, depending on what happens Monday, I might just not trade it at all. Like I said, I do believe this is on for puts and could drop heavily in the run up to earnings. I don't know what's going to happen with earnings. I don't know how it's going when it comes to travel with these stocks. But as you can see, it goes down for a week, then up, then down. And if we look at the weekly chart just to get a better perspective, it's a little bit inconsistent. Look at that. It's literally a green week, then a red week, then a green week, then a red week. Look at that. I mean, you have a few back-to-back red weeks, a few back-to-back green weeks. It's not like some of the stocks where we see like 3, 4, 5 green weeks in a row, then, one red week, then more green weeks in a row. It's not like that. But Boeing is pretty bearish right now. So, again, leaning more towards the put side with this. Now, for the last few stocks I want to watch for this week, I'm going to upload it in the Discord as always in the weekly watch list tab. If you would like to come and check out the Discord, please feel free. There's a free section, there's a paid section. You can also do a 24-hour free trial. So please come and check out the Discord. Like I said, There's so much you can learn throughout this market. If you can trade in this market, you can probably trade in any market, let's be honest. And remember, with the cheap stocks, with the oversold stocks, with the stocks that are down, they can still get cheaper. They might be cheap. You might see Netflix at 212 and think, yeah, this is a bargain. You might see Facebook at 180 and say this is a bargain. They can still get cheaper. This is just a QQQ I'm looking at, which kind of gives you an idea of what the tech sector is doing. But like I said, many of the stocks out there can still get cheaper. Now, if you want to learn how to swing trade options, learn more about options, calls, puts, all that kind of stuff, I have the stock option starter pack, which is a bunch of 10 videos you guys will have access to for your life. Please do remember that the stock option starter pack also gives 2 months free access to the premium section of Discord. So you could take advantage of that. It's basically like a 2-in-1 deal right there. And overall, guys, make sure you guys check out the links in the description. There's plenty to see there. Cryptocurrency links, stock links, the link to Chatterquant, the links to my socials. It's all in there. And lastly but not least, guys, please do show support on these videos. It does take a while to make these videos. So do drop a thumbs up, hit that like button, do comment, let me know your thoughts, let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Also make sure to subscribe if you're new around here, hit the red button below so you don't miss a video. And lastly but not least, share with your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband, your cousins, your brother, your sister, whoever. Put it on social media, just share these videos, it helps somebody out there. But that is it from me today. Have a great Saturday. We'll catch you guys back in the Discord. And if you're not going to be in Discord, I'll see you guys next time for another video. I got into making, you got into making. Peace.